ไบดาโมเซนนะคะเป็นผู้จัดการอาวุโสหน่วยพัฒนาบริการห้องสมุดฝ่ายบริการห้องสมุดสาธารณะของคณะกรรมการหอสมุดแห่งชาติสิงคโปร์ค่ะหน้าที่นี้ทำให้คุณสุไบดามีโอกาสได้รับผิดชอบโครงการการเรียนรู้ปฐมวัยซึ่งเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของนโยบายนักอ่านตลอดชีวิตภายใต้แผนงานห้องสมุด 2020 รวมทั้งดูแลการพัฒนาบริการใหม่ๆเพื่อเด็กและเยาวชนค่ะคุณสุไบดาได้สร้างทีมงานในการทำงานร่วมกับชุมชนโดยเฉพาะกลุ่มพ่อแม่ผู้ปกครองแล้วก็ครูผู้มีความสำคัญอย่างยิ่งต่อพัฒนาการของเด็กนะคะคุณสุไบดาเข้าร่วมงานกับคณะกรรมการหอสมุดแห่งชาติสิงคโปร์ตั้งแต่ปีพ.ศ. 2534 ค่ะและผ่านงานด้านบรรณารักษ์ในหลากหลายมิติไม่ว่าจะเป็นในด้านงานบริหารจัดการและการทำโครงการต่างๆเป็นหัวเรี่ยวหัวแรงในการก่อตั้งฝ่ายบริการห้องสมุดเด็กที่ห้องสมุดท้องถิ่นวูดแลนด์ในปีพ.ศ. 2544ท่านทำงานเป็นหัวหน้าทีมงานพัฒนาฝ่ายบริการห้องสมุดท้องถิ่นในอีก 4 พื้นที่ของสิงคโปร์ในช่วงระหว่างปีพ.ศ. 2546 ถึง 2554 นะคะนอกจากนี้คุณสุไบดาได้จัดการพัฒนาและอบรมให้ความรู้เกี่ยวกับงานด้านบรรณารักษ์เยาวชนมากมายที่น่าสนใจคือการผลิตหนังสือเรื่องเล่าจากบรรณารักษ์รวมทั้งแผ่นภาพนิทานสัตว์และแผ่นภาพนิทานวัยเด็กหนังสือรวมเรื่องเล่า A Pair of Red Clocks นะคะในปีพ.ศ. 2549 แล้วก็หนังสือ The Tale of the Missing Tale ค่ะในปี 2550 นอกจากนี้ท่านยังเข้าร่วมเป็นคณะกรรมการตัดสินในการประกวดเล่านิทานรวมทั้งเป็นหนึ่งในผู้ตัดสินของงานประกวดนิทานรางวัล Hedwig Anua ในปี 2554 อีกด้วยค่ะท่านสำเร็จการศึกษาปริญญาตรีด้านประวัติศาสตร์จากมหาวิทยาลัยแห่งชาติสิงคโปร์และปริญญาโทด้านสารสนเทศจากมหาวิทยาลัยเทคโนโลยีนานยางจากนั้นศึกษาต่อในสาขาการศึกษาปฐมวัยจนได้รับปริญญาโทใบที่2นะคะจากวิทยาลัยวิลล็อกประเทศสหรัฐอเมริกาค่ะในช่วงท้ายของการบรรยายนะคะเราน่าจะพอมีเวลาสำหรับการตอบคำถามได้ด้วยเพราะฉะนั้นท่านใดมีข้อสงสัยระหว่างฟังการบรรยายอย่าลืมเขียนโน้ตลงบนกระดาษที่อยู่บนโต๊ะนะคะแล้วก็ส่งให้ทีมงานของเราด้วยนะคะจะได้ให้วิทยากรได้ตอบกันค่ะในโอกาสนี้ค่ะดิฉันขอเรียนเชิญคุณสุไบดาโมเซน May I invite Miss Zubaidah Mohsen นะคะ Senior Manager Library Service Development National Library Board Singapore ค่ะ onto stage please และขอเชิญทุกท่านรับฟังการบรรยายได้เลยค่ะ
Mr. Premsuk, Dr. Tatsanai, fellow colleagues and speakers, and to everyone, a very good morning. Welcome back, and I hope you had a very good tea break earlier on.I'm very honored, in truth, very impressed with your TK Park. I'm very honored to be here to share the experiences that we had in Singapore. And I truly believe that I think as Asian nations, we have a lot to learn from each other. And when I visited TK Park, I was really impressed by the children's section, especially because my specialty is in children's services. And it was so nice to see the space that you created for children, you know, the honeycomb, and that they are allowed to climb up and pick up the books that they like. And that's very impressive, and it's something that perhaps I could also implement in Singapore. Because back in Singapore, when you want to implement something like that, you have parents asking us, is it safe for children to climb up there and all that. So I see in delight that TK Park has managed to do that.Today, I will be sharing a little bit on the project that we had done. It's called Born to Read, Read to Born. That's the B2R you see there. And what are the components that make up Born to Read, as well as share with you the other strategies that we have implemented in our efforts to partner parents and raise readers from a very young age. And this is because we believe that parents is really the key partner.in raising up readers, and I'm sure you agree with me. And some of these strategies include partnerships and collaborations, both in the public sector as well as the private sectors, and also working with media and private publications like the magazines on publishing content putting up our reviews, our articles on reading in their magazines, as well as moving on to the next steps with effect from this year. Let me share with you the vision of the public libraries. We seek to be a social learning space that nurtures active readers and knowledge seekers through the provision of relevant, timely and engaging library services and reading programs, and be a channel for the public to gain a better appreciation of arts and culture in Singapore. And this is the vision that we as a National Library Board would like to achieve as well. And why we want to do that is because we want to put ourselves on the same level. Everybody is on the same level. We have the same right to learning, to develop, to seek knowledge. So the public libraries in Singapore is existing under, they exist under one umbrella, that's the National Library Board. We are so small, so we could have all these different libraries. In total, we have 24. And it exists under one umbrella, that's the National Library Board. And because of that, perhaps it's a little bit easier to run programs because we have all the same vision. And we feel ourselves, the libraries, as the social levelers for the society, because no matter what, in any society, there will always be differences. There will be the high income earners, the middle income earners, and the low income earners. But as libraries, I think we have the capacity to be the social leveler, so everybody deserves to have the same treatment. And through the libraries, we'd like to open our programs, our materials, reading materials, to the different parts of society. And the main thing, we are a free learning space. Because we are public libraries, we don't really charge for any of our services, except if we are giving certain materials to them, then we would charge them nominal fee. Other than that, we try to provide a free learning space for all. Okay, let's go into what is the program that we had in Singapore. This program started in 2001, and why we do that is because we strongly believe in encouraging early reading and family literacy. And this, we truly believe, has to start from a very young age. In fact, we can do so when the baby is still in your tummy, right? We can read to them, we can let the baby listen to music or stories. I'll show you later a little extract from the CD that we give out to the families. So one of the ways that we reach out to parents is through this Born to Read, Read to Born program, where we package materials and we try to give to all the babies that are born in Singapore. And it started in 2001, so we would like to inculcate that reading habit among the young and promote reading as an activity that bonds a family. We can have a lot of activities for parents, for families. They can go to the zoo, for instance. They can go to have a walk in the park. But we want to show that reading is one of the things that they can do with their children, and you know, they can excel and learn at the same time. And we also wanted to build a community of parents who can share with each other. So we have sessions for them to come in and share their interests, share their relevant experiences in raising children. And I believe, like what we are doing now, we are sharing and we are learning from each other. So when we first started in the year 2001, we only target parents after the birth of a child. So when they give birth in the hospital, each of the parents will get a package, and then they can bring back and they can read to the child, because each package has got a very tiny board book sponsored by one of our private sponsors. And then there are several contents in there, like the brochures and some vouchers and all that. But then beginning from 2007, we moved from targeting birth of a child after birth to encouraging parents who are expecting. So then we come up with a pre-birth kit. What is a pre-birth kit? Okay, it comprises of a baby journal, it comprises of a baby height chart, baby's first CD, and parenting brochures. So when we give out the journal, we wanted to show that parents can capture the moments that they had with the child, bringing them up, capturing special moments, and put it in the journal so that when the child grows up, you can share, say, this is what we had in young. And that's part of learning, part of sharing, and also reading. Okay, the other parts for the baby height chart and the baby's first CD. Okay, baby's height chart has got little nuggets of information and tips where you can hang on your wall and you can sort of measure the child against it, and also to show at certain age, at certain months, what can you read to them, what are the suitable reading stories for you to read, certain reading materials, and there are other events that you can look out for. And then for the CD, what we had done is to put in some of the classical musics that we had copyrights. We can, just pay a nominal fee for the license. We also put in famous nursery rhymes that is sung by our own librarians. And we also put in stories. What we had done as part of the Asian Children's Festival was to develop stories to get our librarians to write stories. So we had published about 2 booklets and several stories in Kamishibai format. Kamishibai is the thing that we adopted from Japanese culture. It's a picture story, and they come in cuts. Yeah? So all these were done by the librarians. So to avoid getting copyrights, and all that, we also wanted to share our own local stories. So we put in the baby's first CD stories that we narrated for the children. Okay, this is how it looked like in 2001, a plastic pouch. And in 2004, we moved it to having a bag, before we move into the pre-birth kit. Okay, so this is the baby journal, like I mentioned. It has first experiences, memories, spaces for you to put in photographs, and notes where you can share with children. Other than that, okay, I must be frank that this book is so nice because it is sponsored. The major bulk of the production, because it's a hardcover, it's very nice, is sponsored by a private company. And because of that, we only paid $1 each. And they put in a lot of advertisements because they sponsored the book, so they put in a lot of advertisement. But the advertisements are still related to children's growth and, relevant products that babies can use, relevant organization that they want to enroll the child in. So a lot of the advertisements are still relevant. So we are okay with that, because I think that's also something that parents need to know. And we put up spaces for them. Oh, sorry. The information guide also has useful numbers and websites that parents can refer to at any time of emergency. Okay. This is the very first page where we have a dedication to all mothers. So this is part of the journal. So we would like to make parents feel that it is a very important thing for them to start journaling and capturing the experiences when babies are too young to remember, and then share them with the children when they are bigger. Okay, and this is an example of how you have spaces where you can capture, on the day of my birth, what happened, who was the Prime Minister, is there any special policy change, and also some memorable moments. And at the same time, as part of library, or rather as part of encouraging people to read, we put in books that they can use at the same time. So the journal has two meaning, partly to share the experiences, at the same time get tips to choose the books that they want to share with children. Hang in there. Oops, sorry. I have to go back. Okay. This is the baby's first CD. As I mentioned, it contains rhymes, poems, and songs. And I'd just like to share with you a snippet of the CD because it's done by our own librarians. So I need the help of someone at the back there to just click the sound for the Humpty Dumpty. Thank you.
Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall.
Okay, not too bad, yeah? These are all librarians, about I think 5-6 of us who sang the entire CD. Now, a little bit of the story, how Hen got her clerk. This is one of the stories written by one of our librarians, Lim Shang-ni. And she has now migrated to Holland, but I still have her story with me. Can you help me click, please?
How Hen got her clerk. A story by Lim Shang-ni. Long ago, in the days before our time, hens did not cluck. They were the proudest group of fowls, always thinking their eggs were the smoothest and the biggest ever. One day, they discovered that this was not so. Hen had just laid an egg and she was so very proud of it. Come and see my egg, Hen called out to Goat. Isn't my egg beautiful? It's the smoothest and biggest egg ever.
Okay. It's not.
Okay, that's just a snippet. What happens thereafter is that the hen keep meeting bigger and bigger animals who has bigger eggs until she meets an ostrich and can't fight anymore. Yeah, and that's how she got her cluck because she sat on the egg and she went big, big, bigger, big, big, bigger. Yeah, so that's how the story goes, and it's the brainchild of one of our librarians. And yeah, what we learned from this is that the parents are very happy with the CD, and they said it's a very good effort because it's local, it's you know what the librarians does, and they've been giving very positive feedback on this. The other part I was sharing with you, how it shows the baby, you know, you can measure the baby at certain milestones and what are the things that you can show. Okay, I must also confess that this is one of my sons. I have 3 boys, and he is not this age. This is not very current. He is now 16 years old. Yeah, this is my second boy. And what we put, if you can notice, is that we put for between 6 to 12 months, then what can a baby do? And what can parents do, and then we have the books for you to share. So it's really pasting things all over your house and remembering that you need to share books with babies, right? So it's one of our efforts and how you partner parents in that sense. And we also have this reading record as part of the Born to Read component. It is shaped as a bookmark, and they can borrow 4 books and get a stamp. You know, babies can actually become library members at the point that they are born, as long as they get the birth certificate and, you know, and they register their name, they can come to the library. But not all parents know that, and it's very hard to get parents to be aware that, you know, they can do that. So we created things like this so that, you know, when it comes in the package, they read behind it and they come and register. And when they complete the whole card, they will get some tokens like a bag or other simple tokens like pens, stickers, badges that children like to collect. Okay, these are some samples of what they get. Very simple mechanism. And for the part of the parents, we also wanted to give them a bag so they can carry around and become our marketing agents. Yeah, when they walk around and they see people see the program, they're going to be interested to know what is that program, and they can come back to the library. So other than reaching out to parents, we also went out to the schools. We wanted to reach out to children who are enrolled in preschool centers. So we created these activity calendars with a lot of information like authors' birthdays. We have information on the guide to reading, how you can start reading, what are the styles that you can use, also the tips. And because it's a calendar, we mark down all the important events that are related to reading in Singapore and internationally as well. Okay, and we have quotable quotes on reading that comes from all the good speakers and the good authors. And we had this activity calendars that inside it there's also redemption coupons. So the other reason why we send out all these materials are also to bring people to the library. So when we created coupons and redemption coupons, they can come back and redeem something. So they will walk into the library, and we hope that they will discover that vast, richness in the library collection. So that's one way of pulling them in. Because parents has got a lot of information given to them, and they may not be able to choose. They have difficulty in choosing, so we want to bring them back. So we created all these redemption coupons. And the other thing that we did for parents as part of helping them to nurture readers, we also hold talks and programs, workshops. This is one of it is Raise a Reader workshop, and then we have family interest group and Fun with Thoughts. Okay, we invite experts for talks. We hold it on a monthly basis at the different libraries. Although Singapore is small, people still prefer to go to the nearest library, and we get experts to go to the different libraries to give talks on reading and parenting topics as well. And we on our part also go out. We have speaking engagement, and we give talks at the hospitals, we give talks in school, we give talks at the community centers, just to create this awareness that reading is important, and that parents play that crucial role along with educators to get children to grow up as readers. Okay, and we also organize our own forum. This is the Raise a Reader workshop. Before this, I did mention in my paper that I had done a study in 2006 as part of my master's program. For that paper, my partner and I tried to research. We did an action research to study, to let educators know, how do we get parents to be involved in the child's learning development. So we did interview session, we did focus group session, both with the educators and with the parents. Educators sometimes have this impression that parents are not interested or not bothered to go into, to learn how to bring up the interests of children and all that. But when we went out to the parents, they are really interested to know how to do it. And for that study, we were really focusing on those who come from low-income groups. And although we know that for some of them, the most important thing would be all the bread and butter issues, what to bring home, the amount of money you bring back and all that. But what we found out is that on top of that, they are really interested to learn how they could help their children grow up as readers and what they can do to improve that. So they did say that they can attend talks, they can search for information on the internet, and they like us to help them. So we do bring some workshops to the parents, and this is one of it. And what we do is we share with them the importance of reading. We show them how to select books for the different age group, and then we have activities with them. The activities can be, from a storybook, how do you make an activity, a hat perhaps, or a bookmaking session. And we also show them, from newspapers, what can you cut out and put together with children. And we have other things. We also include nursery rhymes, so you can see that the parents actually take part and sing the nursery rhymes with us. So what we did was the first phase, of course, was parents of preschoolers. So we started with that. And this is the component that we share, importance of reading, selection of books and all that. Then we move on to also give talks to the early childhood educators. Now for that one, of course, we have to tweak a little. So what we did was we incorporated something that supported their curriculum. So we did a book web, element with them. So for the book web, what do? You tell the teachers to share a story, and from that story, what can you teach in terms of the social, emotional part? What can you teach in terms of science? What can you teach in terms of maths? And so on. So the teachers learn how to do a book map from a story. They may know how to teach using non-fiction books, but they may not know how to jumpstart from a storybook. So we show them how to do that. And then we move on to the parents of elementary school. That means the primary level. And for this level, we did slightly different things as well. What we did was we incorporated the types of readers, how they progress from early readers, from emergent readers to early readers to independent readers and the reluctant readers. How do we get reluctant readers to read? So these are for the older ones, because for the older ones, by then they may have some negative experiences that push them off reading. They don't want to read anymore. Either, they are scolded for reading and not doing other things, or they pick the wrong book. Yeah? So we wanted to go to different levels of parents. So this is what we did. And then, I shared with you. So these are some of the sessions, pictures of the sessions done. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so you can see one of the librarians talking to them, and the reception is often quite good, ranging from 25 to 30 parents. So when we move on to the schools, to the elementary schools, we actually request for more so that we don't have to repeat the sessions. And most of the time, we have between 50 to 100 parents attending our workshops. So that was something that we are quite happy about, because we know that parents are keen and interested to learn. And then there's this other program that we did with the children who are very young. For the toddlers, we call them Tots. The Fun with Tots program lasts for about 30 minutes. And for this particular session, we have both the parents and the child coming into the session and doing the rhymes with us, listening to stories with us. And we feel that by partnering them like that in a practical session, it helps them more. Yeah? So we can also exchange experiences, because sometimes when we use a certain book, a parent may come up and say, oh, I've used that book before, but I used it this way, because my child can't sit still or do something like that. So we have sharing of knowledge also between librarians and the parents. And we produced this book called Help Your Child Get Ready to Read. Inside we have all the different strategies that you can use to get a child to read. And we also use this pre-reading skills, the 6 pre-reading skills that was developed in America, and we had permission for use. So there's phonemic awareness and vocabulary building and all that. So there are 6 pre-reading schools that we put in here that parents, whether or not they're attending that program, can collect at the library. Okay. Along with the Born to Read program, another thing I mentioned earlier, that we try to bring parents back and register their children as soon as they are born. Although we had that pre-birth package, it's not many parents that come back to we didn't get many parents to come back to the libraries. So we look at other programs, we look at other possibilities of bringing them back. So we had this program called Babies Can Be Members Too. And of course we get the media to blast it to say that, hey, once your baby is born, get the birth cert and come. So we offered them my first library, a shelf of books that is selected specially by librarians. So we had the entire library I think it cost about $500 as a whole. So you have the entire set of books that you can start using with your child. So of course, it's something that you want parents would feel very happy about, because they want to start the first library. Yeah. So it's called My First Library, and then we hold the program every 6 months. So initially we had It starts in 2009. Initially, we had like from January to June of 2009. And at the end of June, we'll see who is the youngest baby girl and the youngest baby boy, and each of them will get my first library. Then later on in the last part of the program in late 2010, we actually had the winners drawn out every month. So we get even more parents joining, because initially we had the youngest baby was registered 2 weeks after birth, but as this program become more popular, we have the first baby, the youngest baby born at 2 days old. So that's a big difference. From 2 weeks, it moved on to 2 days. So you can imagine the first day of birth, they quickly register. The next morning, they can come to the library and register the child. And we have had very good feedback from parents in terms of the selection of books, because these are the books that we want parents to start using. And they say the range of books is very good, it's very colorful, and the child truly enjoy reading those books. Yeah. We mix it up, we balance it out with new titles as well as the classic ones. Okay. In terms of the family interest group, this is something that I mentioned to you, a small group of parents, about 15 to 25 of them, sitting in a session in the library, and then they share parenting issues, they share reading issues with us, and we will call an expert to share, especially in terms of parenting issues. As librarians, I don't think we will have the knowledge to really talk about that, but we will facilitate and provide all the books that are relevant to that session, and parents can borrow them. But when it is a topic on reading, then we will be the main speaker, and then we share with parents. So what happens there is a very good and active learning community where people exchange knowledge when they talk about bringing up their child. Because usually, okay, what happens when you meet your friends from the past, from your school friends and all that? When we meet, immediately you say, okay, how many children you have, yeah? And you start talking about your child. So that is something that parents like to do. And so we created this space for them to interchange ideas and to share their knowledge. Okay, just to share with you how did we go about publicizing the program. We created posters that are sent out to the polyclinics, because parents usually have to go monthly checkups when they are pregnant, right? And we also we approach the OGCs, the obstetrician and gynecological clinics. And we also go to the schools and the early childhood centers just to create that, buzz that this program is coming. So we work with a lot of partners. So to partner parents, we have to really partner the communities and reach them. And then we have this congrats card that is sent to the hospitals. So when the parents give birth, they get this congratulation cards that is signed by the CEO. And then it acts as a flyer as well. So it publicizes all the components of the pre-birth kit, yeah, and what are the different aspects of the package. Okay, and then we really work a lot with the media in Singapore. We inform them about the program, and they will do an interview the parents who took part. Yeah, and it's good because when it comes from the horse's mouth, it's really, really well. The parents share their experiences, and it's captured in the local daily. So it's a widespread kind of sharing. Okay, in all the local dailies, so in the Malay papers, in the Chinese papers, and we also had magazine feature. And we go a lot on radio interviews as well, because they have this one channel that caters to parents. So there's this program called Parenting Today, and experts get invited to share. And most of the time, our librarians go on air to share on the programs and books. So that's me doing the press conference long ago, yeah? So much younger then. Okay. What we had was, after sending out the kits, at the back of it, we also had a survey form inside the book. Okay. The following feedback came from this lady who was so happy with the package. Okay, we had different feedback coming in. The journal at the back of it has got a place where they can submit feedback, but we also received this, which is coming in from our help desk, the phone line, the email help desk, and she wrote about how, although the CD was a simple production, she was delighted with the local stories and poems. And the best thing about it was she said her older child was interested in it as well. And so we felt that we not only reach out to the very young, the newborns, but we are also reaching out to the older ones, because as they play, even when the mom is pregnant and all that, when she starts playing the CDs, the older ones get to hear it as well. Yeah. So these are the other feedback that we get. What they want more space to write. So actually we encourage them in that journaling. So they wanted more space. They also wanted more coupons. And but they asked for not so common rhymes. That means a lot of our, I think I share the same thing with Zara, the mother tongue languages. Yeah, some of the rhymes are not known, and recently for, I think this past year, we have had a renewal of interest in mother tongue as well. So there was a private writer, she republished all the Malay rhymes in a CD. So that was something to partner parents as well. All right. Okay, all these efforts that we have done would not have been successful if we don't have good partnerships and collaborations. And I think what I heard at TK Park yesterday, you also partner universities and students. Yeah? You get a lot of effort coming in. And I believe that effort by the community will really generate a nation of readers. And that's what we wanted to do for Singapore. Not just going into the young, going to the schools, but we want it to be a nation of readers where everybody loves reading, right to the ripe old age. Yeah? And for this particular project, we partnered the Ministry of Community Development, Youth and Sports, and they are very generous in the sense that it aligns with their mission, so they are very generous in funding us. So they funded us the money to produce the Born to Read packages. They also link us to the speakers, because they deal with a lot of the community, and they have their own links to the speakers for parents, family service centers. So we get our speakers from there, and all we have to do is to really give them, how's the outcome, how has it reached out, so that's what they want to know. And for the journal I was mentioning to you, there was a private funder, and it's Ray Marketing. They had, before they met us, they already had an intention of producing a journal. So they came to us to talk about asking us to contribute an article. But we started talking to them about producing this whole Born to Read package, and they are very happy to do it with us. So they funded a lot of the main bulk of the cost, as I was mentioning. And the good thing about it is they do a lot of the legwork. So they look for sponsors, they look for advertisers, and we only need to mention the company name, so that's not much. It's just to give them one page of that. But the effect, it's more, because we get a very good journal. Yeah, I think that's worth the effort. And the other partners, as mentioned earlier, the clinics, the schools, and all that. Now, along this path of creating a nation of readers and reaching out to the young, the other main partner that we had is the Ministry of Education. And Ministry of Education is powerful in the sense that they overlook, they oversee all the education for the very young, the preschoolers, right up to tertiary levels. So when we partner them, we have that wide-ranging reach to the different level of students, and we are able to bring our services to them. So for primary schools, we often go out and bring out books to the school and have like a mobile library, and we get the students to borrow the books, and they can return it at any of the libraries, because our libraries is a network. So if you borrow from one library, you can actually return to another library. So the students who borrowed from the school, and they borrowed our library books, they can return to the library directly. Right? And we also go into the schools to have assembly talks, to talk about reading, to enrich the children's knowledge and to excite them to come back to the library and read and find all these books. We used to do a lot of the, reviews and sharing of articles, sharing of knowledge in the main paper, that's the Straits Times. Back in early 2000, they invited us to write the answers to, Dear Expert column. So at the Dear Expert, whenever the question relates to reading, they will flow it to the librarians to answer. That is in the papers. So moving on from there, what we know is that parents are very interested to find out more and they would like to ask questions. So we have this advisory and inquiry service that's operated daily, and they can send in inquiries at the libraries. They can send in via phone, email, and SMS and IM, and they can ask us questions relating to children's reading, and we will answer them. So moving on from the newspaper, then we went on this regular platform, so they liked it. And we go on to work with the MOE, or Ministry of Education, and we partner them to partner parents so that we have something that parents can refer to. So MOE set up this one unit called Strategies for English Language Learning and Reading, and they had different strategies to be used in school. They have like big books and some activities, and then they will follow up by bringing some of those activities home. So what they wanted us to do is to give them the stories that are related to the activities. So we did this Joy of Reading booklet with them, together with them. These are available online and you can take a look at them later. I'll show you the website that you can access this from. And so parents get to read, to know what are the titles that are related to the things that they do in school. So these stories are different from what Stella used in school, but it sort of complement the parents to do something at home. Yeah. And the other thing that we did with in terms of producing content is this emotional bibliography series. It has got this 8 booklets. One of it is 50 topics picture books selected by librarians, and how to help your child grow at the different parts or the different aspect of parenting, like milestones when they start learning something new, grooming and personal hygiene, and kids are sometimes picky eaters, so we have stories that relate to that under the title Savoring Food. So this booklet feature all the stories to accompany you as you move or as you grow with your child. So these are contents that we produce and articles that we write in the different media so that we can reach out to parents and assist them in finding information. So if you like to know how to get access to those bibliographies, we park them at our website. So it's very easy, www.pl.sg. And you have these 4 tabs that you can click: Just Ask, Just Browse, Just Check, and Just Share. So you click on Just Browse, and you go to the left and you click Recommendations for Children, Recommendations and Children. And you can see the Joy of Reading 2 is actually there. And we have the fantasy booklet as well. What we do to Asia is something that we produce to accompany the launch of one of our thematic collections in Woodlands, which I will mention later on. All right, so parents, there's a whole collection of bibliographies to address different subjects and also different reading interests. So there are genres, there are also subject matters in there, both for all the 3 age group: children, teens, and adults. So you can just go in there and get get all the biblios from it. You can download because they are in PDF. Okay, these are the questions that we receive from parents and teachers. So you can see they want reading lists. They want to know what they can choose for the children and how to entice a child into reading, sort of to hook a child into reading, because it takes only one thing to hook a child into reading. It can also take one thing to deter a child from reading. You know, if someone just say to a child, "Why are you choosing that book? That's not interesting." It's gonna kill the interest, and that child will never touch a book again. So these are the things that we can help parents, choose the right books and how to attract children to books. Okay, these some of the other initiatives that we have implemented to try and partner parents in raising up their children. One is mobile read. It's because a lot of people are now using smartphones. They can just download the app and they can access the different information. So they can check their accounts, because if you don't return your books on time, what do you have? You get fined. So people want to have to be able to be checking their account on the move. So we have that. We also have children's stories that we have parked inside. So mobile read is this entire thing that we implemented for smartphones, and then as part of that, we put in the children's stories. Okay. I'd like to share now, have a bit more time to share on the next steps that we are taking. With effect from this year, we are embarking on another strategy, which is the Library 2020, and it's called Readers for Life. So that again explains our interest in raising a nation of readers. For this one, we have already done a whole lot. If you can see, the efforts has gone way back. But sometimes it's still not enough. So what we do, we will learn from the past and implement those that have proven to work, and then we try out different things as well. So this is the next new thing that we are doing. It's something that we target from young. I'm in charge of this early literacy agenda. There's another colleague of mine who's taking care of schools. So they will, they have this program called Whole School Reading Program, where they will work with the schools in partnering the teachers and partnering the children, the students, to move into reading. And we also have programs for the youth, and then we have programs for seniors. So for seniors, we will create different things like something that is intergenerational, that we can bring to get seniors to read to children, get seniors to be active. When I say seniors, in Singapore, it's 60 and above. Right? For the early literacy agenda, what we want to do is to share how important it is for parents and educators to bring up a child who loves to read. Yeah? And early literacy is not really reading. It's actually something that they need to know about reading and writing, like I mentioned earlier, about phonemic awareness, about the pre-reading skills. And it's not something about teaching children to read. That's another branch. That's the educator's part, to teach them the semantics of reading. But as a library, we want children to love reading. So it's really knowing what you can do at home and the different activities that you can do with your children to get them into reading. Okay. This arises also because we know that if reading is not nurtured as a lifelong habit, it will dull the person's sense of curiosity, interest, and creativity. So I think TK Park has got that real, idea of it, your living library, because interactivity and everything encompasses the experience that a child go through, so that they can become knowledge seekers, they can continue learning throughout their life. So we have to get that spark into them right from the start. And it is something that is so important because it links to education. And in Singapore, a lot of the parents are very competitive, in the different schools and all that. So if they want that, they should really get the child into reading very early. But it has to be the fun type of reading, not the forced type of reading. And this is what we want to relay. And we also found out that this is something that the MOE shared during a press conference, that 12 to 14% of children in primary 1 has very weak oral English and literacy skills. That means they may not be able to even identify some of the things that they have to read. And sadly, at primary 3, some of the students view reading as associated with schoolwork rather than pleasure. So it's like, quite sad because they associate that reading is only for school, and then they don't want to continue the leisure reading at home, or they don't want to enjoy that reading bit. So we want to instill back that love of reading, not just schoolwork. So we want to say that school is school, you have to read for school, but you need to read as part of your life. Yeah. Okay, and we are going to do it the same thing with children from 0 to 6, because this is really the crucial year where the brain is developing and we can stimulate their interest. And we know that these are the key players: educators, parents definitely, and the caregivers, including grandparents, because most of the children in Singapore are placed in childcare centers, and that's when the educator's role will be important. But some are really taken care of still by their grandparents. So we need to work with all these different pockets to bring the importance of reading to the society. Okay, and we want to, this is our main objective, to develop early literacy skills in children that will give them that firm foundation to the acquisition of reading skills. So this, what I'm sharing here are the different components that we want to partake in this early literacy agenda. We have started the research that is related to how important it is, and we have shared that with parents. So we will do also surveys at the start of the program, in the mid-program to the end. Okay. What I may forget to tell you is this program is a 5-year program, which starts this year right up to 2016. So we will track the progress of the child as they start learning and all that. So three main survey. And we also wanted to create early literacy centers. So that's why I was saying that, TK Park Living Library and the child space is really something that we can learn from. Because when we create early literacy center, we want a center that is integrative, where we can have experts coming in and parents can seek their specialist advice. And we also need spaces for programs that, on a regular basis, the parents can bring their children there, or after school the child can go there on their own. And also spaces that they can learn. That means we can put in interactive feature, like buying things that, or installing things that they can touch and learn. Because tactile is something that helps the child to learn as well. So we wanted it to be integrative, as in, when the children in TK Park climb up that thing, they are learning too, to be safe and reach out for something up there. So it's really something that we wanted to do. So this is something that I'll bring back home with me. So I'm learning from you, a lot more. And we also wanted to create resources to accompany parents in their journey. So we will work with the schools and give them some activity kits that they can use with their children in schools, and this child can bring back for use with the parents. That's one. The other thing is we also wanted to give starter kits to the parents, a little bit like the pre-birth kit, but this one specifically targeting at the lower income parents. So we wanted to give them packages, not really the journals and all that, but more giving them that immediate access. That means giving them books, giving them finger puppets and all that. They can start immediately, because I think the ease of use is very important for such parents, because they don't have a lot of time. They just want to start. So we can give them all these support that we can afford to give them, and they can start learning directly with their children. So we also will do conferences, so look out for the next 5 years, and you're also welcome to attend. Literacy conferences that would help the parents learn more from different experts. Although I've mentioned that this is a plan that is for 5 years, I must say that we are still seeking for sponsors, because this agenda will take a lot of money to produce, and as all libraries in the world, we are also, we are also facing budget cuts and all that, and it's the same things. But we will try. We already have one committed sponsor, so this sponsor will come in and bear half of the cost. But we are still seeking some other funding from other sponsors. So this is one other thing that you can look out for in the next 5 years. And this is what we want to do, so create awareness and provide initiative and develop early literacy skills. It's essentially to build a foundation for children. Okay, and these are our partners. Earlier on I mentioned 2 major partners that we had been working on over the years, the MCYS plus the MOE, the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Community Development and Youth and Sport. We are also going to work a lot with the public sector, like the tertiary institutions, because a lot of students in the polytechnics, they have this internship program that they can come in and help us develop, like animation software or reading books with e-books for children. We also work with the hospitals and all that. But more importantly now, we work with the organizations that are created by the people, such as the Dads for Life. This is a group of fathers who set up this organization to really bring fathers closer to their children, to take part in bringing up children together. Yeah? So we work with the people's group, and there's also one called Society for Reading and Literacy. This has been one of the organizations that has been partnering us over the years as well. And the other part of it is, of course, to reach out to the private organizations, and this could be the educational organization like SID Institute or the Early Childhood Educators Association, ACES, and OCTO. OCTO is our kids channel. They have been working with us closely, so sometimes we have been featured in the on TV to tell stories and all that. Yeah? And Playum is a new organization. I think it's set up about 3-4 years ago, and what Playum does is to create museums of play for children. So they do have a space of their own, but they also go out to community events on organization. They set up some kind of feature that children can learn and play at the same time. So for example, we had one that was done in the library where it's the Chinese wayang. So they get children to also act out and dress up and do some kind of stage play. So we partner a lot of the private institution as well, because these are the ones that would help us to show to parents that you can do simple stuff, crafts and activities to get children into reading. Okay, let me share with you one of the efforts that we are doing for the next 5 years as well. It will be the thematic collections that will be put up in selected libraries. So the first one was launched this year, 20th of April, and it was the Asian Children's Literature. Okay, this is not a new collection. It has always been in the National Library of Singapore, the building, the Lee Kong Chian Reference Library. It was formerly targeted only at researchers and educators, but then again, this is an Asian literature. So we wanted more people to have access to it. So we brought this out to the Woodlands Regional Library and created a space where parents can see the books, can take out the books, and some of them can even be borrowed because we have duplicates, and some are only for use as reference. But of course, there are also some rare materials that we still have to retain because we can't be allowing everybody to touch and feel the book, but they could see. And as part of this launch of the thematic collection, we had the exhibition. So this exhibition will be changed every 6 months. The first one that we had was the Asian Cinderellas exhibition, where we show that in actual fact this famous fairy tale did not come from the European side, but it came from China, which is one of our Asian nations. So the historical path was charted as well, and it was a very very evoking in terms of emotions, and you see how the things are changes, how the cultural aspects are highlighted. All right, this is something that we can do in the different parts of Asia, and I think I see an Asian corner as well in TK Park. It's something that we must bring up if we want to create our community of a community that knows its social and cultural aspect. And the other thematic collection will be set up along these 5 years, and you get to hear about it in the papers. That's the end of my presentation. I still have some time for you to ask questions if you like. Thank you.